What does actually happen during exercise? I bet it's a question that keeps you up at night. And this is what we're addressing, the short-term effects. I just want to be clear, we are talking about the during of exercise, what physiologically, biologically actually is different or changes because we're exercising. So let's see if we can look at this. I don't think you'll be in any way surprised by these images. And this first one I'm going to put in an up arrow, which for today, let me do a slightly better arrow, Gordon Bennett. This up arrow represents an increase in HR, not human resources, not how you manage your staff, but in heart rate, an increase in heart rate. The heart is the muscular contractile force which is pumping nutrients via the blood through the circulatory system to things like the muscle, the working muscle, but other areas of the body too. So of course it starts to beat faster. We've got to get more blood to this tricep. We've got to get more blood to this gastrocnemius. And we do that by the heart contracting more frequently. Okay, so that is a classic example of what takes place. Now, similarly, well, kind of similarly, we get an increase, up arrow, in what we call TV. Let me write that out for you, not what we're watching on the box, not what Netflix shows you're enjoying, but an increase in tidal volume, okay? An increase in tidal volume. Remember that tidal volume is the quantity of air taken into and breathed out of the lung per breath. In other words, if we get an increase in tidal volume, we breathe more deeply, okay? So we breathe more deeply. Why? Because we are looking to get more air, and therefore that 21% of oxygen in the air into the lung, deeper into greater number of alveoli, and therefore we can get more oxygen into the blood to be delivered. Now, we also, during exercise, experience, and by the way, on that tidal, you can literally see that, there's more air going in there because her tidal volume is greater. I don't know what the noise I just made was. We also experience an increase in temperature, especially muscle temperature, by the way. Now, just reflect on this a second. You will know from your biology studies that the metabolic reactions in cells, if they are what they refer to as exothermic, don't want to get technical, but they release heat, right? You know that. The release of energy in the muscle releases also heat. Well, energy and heat are approximately the same thing. So we have got here an increase in temperature. Now, of course, that temperature has to be managed. That's what our kind of systems of sweating and pushing blood via the skin makes our face red sometimes. We can manage that temperature during exercise, but our temperature goes up. And guys, last point from me, we get an up arrow, increased production of, and what I'm going to refer to today as waste products. Okay, so you might want to reflect on what those waste products are. Can you name them? I'm going to give you a couple. I'm going to say CO2, carbon dioxide, is a byproduct of energy release in the muscle through aerobic means. But you might also want to think about something like lactic acid. Okay, this is also a byproduct, in this case, of anaerobic work within the muscle. So we get this production of waste products. And both of these, by the way, this of course is breathed out, as you will be aware of, but lactic acid can also be breathed out. You might want to wonder why that is, or actually aspects of it can actually be reused. That's for another day, but you might find that interesting to reflect on. Cheers, everyone.